Alright, so I thought I'd do a Hulk lock rotation guide because this rotation is just like absolutely insane, man. So basically, if you didn't watch the previous video, Hulk has a rotation where like he can just permanently stun the opponent for the entire fight and they like won't throw a special attack at all. It is a great form of control, and I thought I'd just go over like the rotation for it, like any common mistakes to know about, any like, enhancements towards it too. So yeah, let's just talk about the rotation first, like the initial rotation. Okay, a lot of words, right? I know. Just bear with me, though. So basically, to start off, you want to build to 1.9 bars of power, right? And then you want to throw an SP1. And then you want to do a 4-hit combo. That's important. A 4-hit combo is important. And then a double medium. And this will give you enough time to do another combo until you hit 1.9 bars of power again. Once you do that, you want to throw an SP1. And then you want to do 2 full combos because by the time you throw this SP1, you'll be in Gamma Rage and you'll get a massive stun duration increase, right? So you can do 2 full combos, right? And then a medium light medium combo. And then you want an SP2. That sounds crazy, right? Like that doesn't stun at all. But hear me out. The stun is so long to where you can do an SP2 and still have like stun duration left. So then you do a 5 combo immediately after the SP2, right? And then you activate your relic, and then it'll give you another stun. Then you do a 5 combo into another SP1, and that is the Hulk lock. Because after that, you can just, keep on stunning the opponent for like 2 more stuns, I believe, and then like it just like doesn't get enough duration to like continue it further. But by the time that happens, the opponent's already down for sure, because he can do like up to 700,000 health with this rotation. It is quite insane. So yeah, let's show like a video example of this. So here's a video example. This is Hulk just by himself, like no other teammates. It's just him and the relic, right? So we want to go to this P1 right now, like 1.9 bars of power, like I said. And then once we're there, we'll begin the rotation basically. So we're almost there, right? We're just like building a power and not letting him throw a special attack at all. So here I dropped the first SP1, right? And this one doesn't have like the extended duration, right? So we can only do a 4 combo and then a double medium combo into another combo right there. And we end with a light attack so we don't go over 2 bars of power. And then we drop another SP1, so we can do 2 full combos now, and then a medium light medium combo, and then SP2. And look at this. We dropped SP2, he's still stunned, so we can retaliate immediately. Then we drop the relic, so that stuns him again, right? Then we do another full 5-hit combo into another SP1, and then from here on out, you can just do like whatever combo you need to get to another SP1, and then that just ends the fight. And that was a whole Hulk lock rotation. So what are like the best uses for this, right? Because I know it's like kind of complicated, but if you pull it off, it's a very, very powerful rotation, right? So for me, I like to use it when I just don't want the opponent to throw a special attack, right? Because you can see Winter Soldier didn't throw a single special attack, right? So like we just completely counter him there. So like in situations like that, I feel like that's when the Hulk lock is probably best. Additionally, if there's any troubling nodes that you don't want to deal with, for example, like an unblockable, then that'll help just like completely remove that because they can't really do anything, right? So there's no like worry about unblockable, things like that, right? And another thing is like, stun vulnerability, because the opponent is stunned like for the entire fight pretty much. So like there's a massive damage increase like while they are stunned. You'll get that like pretty much all the time. And just of course like the most important thing, it is just like an insane control rotation, right? So like you can just not worry about anything at all. The opponent cannot do anything at all. It is just a very fun time, and there's like nothing to worry about in the slightest. So yeah, it's just a very solid rotation overall in my opinion. So if you're worried about like the rotation being like too much of a small window, you can enhance this like rotation with the Sorcerer Supreme synergy, because it gives 25% stun duration, right? So that really just helps the rotation be much more practical and like much more easier to maintain. I think that rotation is pretty practical already, but like it can be way easier with that one synergy. And I'm gonna show an example right here. So now we have the synergy active, right? So that just lets us increase our stun duration by 25%, which is pretty dang good. And now we can just like, have a little bit more leeway to the rotation. The rotation stays the same. There's nothing that changes really. You can like do more combos if you want, but you need to make sure that like you align your power levels correctly, because if you don't like align the power bar correctly, you might go over 2 bars of power, which is like not what you want to do in the early stages of the rotation, right? So SP1 as per usual, right? Then we go for our double medium into a 4-hit combo. I kind of switched it around there, but you see like we have so much more stun duration than usual, so you can like do as many combos as you want, to be honest. Like it doesn't really matter when you have the Sorcerer Supreme synergy. But here we go for like the usual 5-hit combo times 2. Then we go for a whole 4-hit combo here, except for the 3-hit, and we have a lot more stun duration than usual, right? There is like no tight window there at all. So yeah, it's just a very fun time. Then we go for this P1 right here, and yeah, we have increased stun duration, so we can just do whatever combo we want. And that just wraps up the fight, man. It is a lot less stressful with the Sorcerer Supreme synergy, but it's still very viable without it. Just remember that. It's still extremely viable without the Sorcerer Supreme synergy. Now let's talk about the two most important situations to know about, like, just in case the rotation doesn't go perfectly, right? So the first one is, you don't get 15 Furies before the second SP1. That is a big one, because if you don't do that, then it's, like, kind of mess up the rotation, but there is a way to play around it. And the second one is, you get the 15 Furies early, right? You get it before the first SP1. So let's talk about the second SP1 situation first, right? So a bit of a problem here, right? I go for the usual rotation, I drop the SP1 at 1.9 bars of power, I do the 4-hit combo, then the double medium, and then yeah, that's just like, that's how it's supposed to go. But there's a problem. I don't get 15 Furies after I do the 4-hit and then the 2-hit combo. But don't worry, because there's a solution. You just go for the SP1, right? And then you just keep dropping the SP1. You do not go for the SP2 at all, because you can't really afford it with the stun duration. So you just want to keep dropping the SP1, and then you can just rely on the relic a little bit there, but just keep dropping the SP1. Do not go for the SP2, because you just there's not enough stun duration to afford it, right? But we can still slunk the whole entire fight. We're not missing out on too much. We're just missing out on some damage output from the SP2, but besides that, we're still controlling the entire fight. So that's perfectly fine, right? And yeah, it's not the biggest deal in the world, and you can still do the fight completely fine without it. So yeah, it's no big deal. And there we go, we finished out the fight, we still got the complete lock in. And now let's talk about what happens when you get the Furies too early. So honestly, this kind of just happens when you're at very low health, because his Fury chance scales with low health, right? So the lower health you have, the more chance to get the Fury, right? So basically, this is a pretty rare thing to happen, to be honest. But let's say it does happen, right? Let's say you get your 15 Furies too early. What do you do now? Well, here's what you do. You just ignore the first part of the rotation, because look at this. I'm going for this SP2 right here, and I can drop it, right? And he's still stunned. So basically, we just skipped a whole part of the rotation. So it's actually faster to do. It's a much more efficient way to do it, but it just requires being low health, right? So that's not really a fair trade-off. To be fair though, you can't just you're not gonna take any damage anyway, so it doesn't really matter, right? But yeah, it's honestly beneficial for you to be at low health and get the Furies early, but even if you don't, it's still very valuable. But yeah, that's what happens if you get the Furies too early. It's honestly beneficial. So now let's go over some final notes to know about the Hulk rotation, the Hulk lock. But basically, the most important thing is kind of obvious, right? But make sure a relic is equipped, because the relic is a very important piece in this rotation to make sure you can keep the combo going. It has to be it doesn't have to be any certain relic, right? It could just be a 3-star one, it can be a 6-star one, doesn't matter. It can be any relic character, it can be Hulk, it can be Ant-Man, it can be whatever other science relic there is. You can just use whatever you want for the relic. It just has to be equipped, right? Because that gives you the striker stun, and that lets you extend the combo. Also, remember the certain combos that you need for the Hulk lock, right? Because there's a 4-hit combo one at the beginning, and the double medium, and then the medium light medium. There's a lot to remember, but once you get it down, it becomes really natural, and you won't forget it. Trust me, it's a very important rotation. It's a very, very good rotation as well. And last but not least, just have fun with it, man. It's a very fun rotation. I love it so much. It's so much fun to play. It just lets you control the entire fight. So yeah, it's just a very fun time. And yeah, that'll be it for this Hulk lock guide. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you're going to use it quite often, because I honestly will be using it quite often, because it's such a fun rotation, and it just lets you control the entire fight, man. So it's just so much fun to play around with. And yeah, it's about it for me.